Okay, so share. Okay, on the agenda, first thing, this came up in the last week, rehome FoodOn agricultural food production branch. And so right now, FoodOn has all these terms that we brought in a few years ago to capture some areas of food production that USDA was interested in categorizing. I forget exactly where the source of these options was, but and yet it seemed a little bit odd to have these stuck here instead of in AGRO. But AGRO ontology seemed initially to just be farm focused, farm practice focused, whereas a number of these other things were about other aspects of agriculture and even animal harvesting. So anyway, I asked them if they would like these terms, and they are happy to take them on. And they seem to have the curational energy to do so, but they're actually asking us to do a pull request. So I'm happy to prepare a pull request, unless there are some other volunteers here, to cover all of these terms and their definitions for AGRO. Just a heads up that that's happening. And Rhiannon, I know this may touch a little bit on your food systems production, what do we call them? Tracks, not track streams. So let me know if you actually want to bundle some other streams here. At the moment, we were sending those other streams into FoodOn, the 10 other terms, as I recall.
Yeah, I don't think at this point I have, I know where they would end up, because there'll probably still be a year of like modeling work to know what they're going to look like. But might end up using parts of these terms, but that's fine if they're inaccurate. Okay. But I just think in order to have agency over the other ones, that they should be in FoodOn until they're ready for like final release.
Okay. So we'll keep that separate. And so then we'll be going to AGRO to actually expand these into the future. But I'm happy about that. It proves that AGRO is growing and developing, and gives them some more mandate. And they are saying they want this with respect to BTFI, which is good, to cover other areas. Okay, so that's that. And then I just spotted that in RO, somebody's going through the effort of adding these new definitions for food terms. And I can't remember if diatoms are cool. It's actually Pierre. Or who? Somebody else?
Or is it one second. She comes to our meetings. Just
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so the pull request is showing that the definitions are certainly better than they were. Occasionally get down to them. There's a superfluous stuff between the switch of terms and DC creator, terms creator as a prefix, which will get resolved. So my computer is slowing down. I have to close feed. Probably should. Usually, just a sec. So let's just get to the definitions here. Okay, it's still slow, just a sec. Okay, getting better. Okay, so for we hadn't been using any of this in FoodOn, but eats. Parasitized by, provides nutrients for, and inverse of eats, eaten by, and then I'm just looking for the eats definition. FoodOn actually hasn't even imported eats yet. All right, maybe I should search. Eats. Okay. A feeding relationship where one organism consumes another, either in whole or in part, through type of mouth or other oral opening. Okay, so this doesn't allow for eats being organism. Yeah, so there are actually some problems about this, using this directly for food that has been processed. So you're not necessarily eating an organism or part. It could be a whole mixture, and I'm just thinking about other things like water. So this RO eats is more particular than what happens at a dinner table. So I'm just going to make that note. I'm going to pop the definition in. So the question is another relationship between animal consumer and food material. And this does bear upon I think, ONS, I believe, uses eats. Let me just verify that right now. I can leave this commentary in the RO relationship ontology. I'm going to share my whole screen. So looking for ONS. Oh, by the way, I'm having a meeting with the ONS folks about redeveloping it. redesigning it, if recurating it, if anybody's interested. I'll put a mention in the agenda about that. It's a Zoom next week to discuss. So here's ONS. It needs work because the top level's got all of these classes, among other things. Right, so they're using RO Eats in a variety of places and in a bizarre kind of way. So diet, somehow a diet eats things directly, which is a misuse of the eats relationship that has to be fixed. So I'll make a note as well that ONS has this diet term that needs some relationship to the products. So I would say diets only need to reference the foods as a member. It's either as some kind of parted. Or as so that can be a topic of discussion for the ONS meeting. I'll just check for the ONS meeting. It is coming up, tomorrow, 9 a.m. I'll just put a note. If anybody's interested, they can contact me about that. Okay. Any other comments about that eats relationship? Okay. All right, moving on. I just caught one very interesting paper, which I think is a good read. The edible plant microbiome, evidence for the occurrence of fruit and vegetable bacteria in the human gut. So this study, there's lots been made about how the human gut biome has E. coli and other bacteria in it, 160 of them, and plus 10 or 20 fungi hanging out in there helping us out. And then, but the question, of course, is how do those guts biome get in there? And so far, I've just been introduced to the idea of fecal transplants to get them in. I didn't know how else these bacteria make it in. But this is like the first paper that I've heard of that points to the fact that eating fruit and vegetables allows the bacteria on those to come into the human gut. And that's a big argument for eating fresh foods because they carry the bacteria, unlike cooked foods. So anyway, there you go. Thought that was interesting. Okay, so that brings us to issues and characteristics. And I haven't done any work in the last 2 weeks on this, really, a little bit in the diagram stuff on the characteristic side. I still want to make that a priority, but I don't know if folks would prefer to just work on that stuff offline rather than real time here. I don't know. I guess first question is, Emily, Rhiannon, Giorgio, do you either of you have any special interest in trying to go through the food characteristics terms or any subgroup of them?
I've already taken a couple on that I'm going to work on at least before the end of November. I don't think I have time to take on any more though.
Right. Okay. Okay. I don't know, Giorgio or Emily, do you have an interest in that area? If not, I won't talk about it this morning.
Yeah, no, basically, I guess for the next month, I was a bit, full of stuff to do with the university here in Buffalo and so on. So,
okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm the same page.
Okay. And Emily, do you have any particular interest? Or do you have an interest in some other FoodOn issue? If not, then I don't mind grabbing some free time for today and not dwelling on the characteristics. I just to say for myself, I just finished a big report, 5-year report for your USDA work. So I have free time now for the next month. I'm happy to dive in, but I don't want to be here just trying to think live about this stuff.
Yeah, I don't have time right now, so sounds good.
Okay, well, let's wrap then for this week, and look forward to talking in a couple of weeks. I'll have some stuff some questions to throw out to you guys.
Sounds good.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Damian.
All right. Okay. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.